The man sitting across from you in this Vienna Café has no idea that you've been following him for 3 months. He orders the same espresso every morning, sits at the same table by the window, reads the same newspaper like the world is normal. It isn't. You know his phone passcode, his hotel room number, the name his wife uses when she calls. You know everything about him, he doesn't know you exist. And in a few hours, that won't matter anymore. How does someone become this? How many years? How many tests? How many lines crossed? Until you're sitting in a Viennese cafe, heart rate at 60, completely calm, waiting. This is your life as every rank of a Mossad assassin. Level 1. The notice. You're 23 years old. You've just finished your mandatory service in the IDF and you were good. Not special forces good, something quieter. You were patient, disciplined. You noticed things other people missed. Mossad noticed that. They don't put up job listings. They don't hold open recruitment days. They watch through military performance records, university files, psychological assessments, and when they see something worth pulling, they move quietly. One afternoon near Tel Aviv University, a man in a gray suit buys you a coffee. He's relaxed, friendly. He asks about your service like he already knows the answers. Then he says 6 words. "We've been watching you for a while." He slides a card across the table. No logo, just a number. You tell yourself you'll think about it. You call the number that same night. You say yes before you know what you're saying yes to. Level 2. The Midrasha. They don't call it a spy school. They call it the Midrasha, a Hebrew word that roughly means institute. It sits near Herzliya, outside Tel Aviv, and from the outside, it looks like absolutely nothing. Inside, it will either make you or break you. Statistically, it breaks most people. You arrive with 30 other recruits. Within the first week, 8 of them are gone. No announcement, no explanation. Their beds are simply empty in the morning. Nobody asks where they went. The training here isn't about physical strength. It's about psychological architecture. They're not building soldiers. They're building actors, people who can hold a lie under pressure so long it starts to feel like truth. Your first real test. They hand you a cover story. Canadian import broker, name, history, habits. Then, they send you into a Tel Aviv market for 6 hours and tell you to run it without breaking. You don't know who's watching. That's the point. You pass. 11 others don't. Nobody talks about where they went. Level 3. Collections. Here's what nobody tells you about intelligence work. Most of it isn't violent at all. Your first real posting is Athens. Your cover is a Canadian import broker named Daniel Marsh. You have a rented office, a business card, a LinkedIn profile that was built 6 months before you landed. In Mossad, officers at this level are called katzas, case officers. Your job is to recruit foreign assets, run information networks, build relationships so deep the other person never suspects they're a source. For 14 months, you befriend a mid-level Iranian trade official. You buy him dinners. You listen to his complaints about his marriage, his boss, his apartment. You laugh at his jokes. He thinks you're his closest friend in Europe. You are filing reports on everything he says. 6 months after you rotate out, he is arrested. His family loses everything. Your handler calls you. 2 words. Good work. You pour yourself a drink and don't sleep until 4 a.m. In the morning, you're fine. And that, you realize, is the most disturbing part. Level 4. The selection. 6 years pass. You are very good at your job. You've run assets in 3 countries. You've spoken 4 languages so fluently that native speakers have corrected your grammar, then apologized. Then you get a different kind of coffee meeting. The man across the table doesn't introduce himself. He doesn't shake your hand. He places a folder in front of you and sits back. Inside are 6 photographs, people, names, dates. These people are no longer alive. Within Mossad's most classified department, reportedly called Caesarea, there is a unit. Journalists and intelligence historians who have studied it in detail call it Kidon. The Hebrew word for bayonet. It is invitation only. It is drawn from experienced case officers, not combat soldiers, because the job requires something beyond physical skill, the ability to make a decision under extreme moral weight and feel nothing afterward. Do you understand what department this is? He asks. You do. Do you want to continue? This is the last real choice you'll ever have. You slide the folder back across the table toward him, and you say, "When do I start?" Level 5. Operational training. The building doesn't look like anything. A suburb, a parking lot, a normal door. Inside, they teach you the craft of disappearance. You learn to open a hotel door lock in under 40 seconds. You learn surveillance detection routes, how to check if you're being followed without ever appearing to look. You learn to build a legend so complete, so lived in, that even under hours of questioning it holds. The 1997 operation in Amman, and when a team attempted to eliminate a Hamas political figure using a contact agent, became one of the most studied failures in Mossad history. 2 operatives were caught. Their Canadian passports were forged. The diplomatic fallout was severe. Your trainers use it as a case study, not for what the mission was, for what went wrong afterward. The operation is the easy part, your trainer tells you one afternoon. Getting home, that's the art. You're taught to feel nothing during, to enter a state of pure operational focus. No anger, no fear, no moral friction, just sequence, just steps. Nobody teaches you what to do with it after. The best operatives, your trainer says, aren't the ones who feel nothing. They're the ones who feel everything, solve it, and complete the mission anyway. You write that down. You stare at it for a long time that night. Level 6. The first operation. After the 1972 Munich massacre, 11 Israeli athletes killed by the Black September organization, Mossad launched what became known as Operation Wrath of God. For years afterward, Mossad operatives lived as ordinary Europeans. Teachers, businessmen, tourists. They maintained covers for months at a time, building their routines into the fabric of cities until the moment they didn't. Your first assignment is a name on a list. You've been living in the city for 4 months. You know the building. You've walked past it 30 times. You've timed the lobby, the stairs, the window of the evening shift change. On the night itself, you feel nothing like what you expected. No rage, no hesitation, no wait, just your own breathing. Just the decision you made 8 years ago in a coffee shop in Tel Aviv, running on autopilot now. You complete it. You fly home. They debrief you for 3 hours. They ask about the route, the timing, the exit. They ask if anyone saw your face. No one asks how you feel. 2 weeks later, you're in a different city, different name. The file has already been destroyed. Level 7. The wait. You've been Daniel Marsh for so long that when someone uses your real name at a family dinner in Israel, you don't respond immediately. Your mother notices. She touches your arm and says your name again, softer this time. You laugh it off. You drive home and sit in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Intelligence psychologists who have studied covert operatives have a term for what happens at this stage. Not PTSD in the traditional sense, but moral injury. The fracture that comes not from surviving danger, but from deliberately acting against the conscience you used to have. The disorientation of a self that has been performing so long it can't locate its original shape anymore. You have 3 phones, you know 4 languages, you haven't held a relationship longer than 1 posting. You are 34 years old. You are world-class at something most people can't even name. And you don't know who you are when the mission is over. Your handler calls. The next operation, he says, is the most important of your career. You say yes before he finishes the sentence, because at this point, what else are you? Level 8. The Ghost. In January 2010, a senior Hamas commander named Mahmoud al-Mabhouh was found dead in his hotel room in Dubai. Dubai authorities later released CCTV footage showing a team of 26 operatives moving through the city using forged passports from 12 different countries: British, Irish, Australian, German, French. They arrived in shifts. They moved like tourists. They dispersed across 3 continents within hours of the operation. The cameras caught everything. Not one person was ever prosecuted. You are now the one who plans. You have 19 operatives under your coordination. None of them know each other's real names. Some don't know each other's faces. You've mapped a hotel in a Gulf city down to the shift change of every elevator operator. On the day of the operation, you are 2 kilometers away, standing in a museum looking at a painting. You are calm in the way that only completely hollow people can be. Your phone buzzes once, 1 word. Done. You put the phone in your pocket. You look at the painting for another 10 minutes. Then you walk to the airport. By the time you board, you're already someone else. You're sitting in a cafe in Vienna. But this time, you're not the one watching. You notice the man at the corner table on day 1. He's been rotating between 3 different newspapers. Same coffee, same window. He thinks he's invisible. You've already filed the report. You order another espresso. You wait. Somewhere in Tel Aviv right now, a man in a gray suit is buying coffee for a 23-year-old who who was just a little too good at things other people missed. Somewhere, someone is about to say yes before they understand what they're agreeing to. The system doesn't need you anymore. It already has the next one. The cycle never ends. It just changes faces.